Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Today we're actually going to mix it up a bit, and I'm going to start doing something I'm a little bit more passionate about than just playing one game at a time. So I'm really passionate about finding new games and then just exploring new games, or even old games that maybe you haven't even heard about yet. I just want to share a couple of those games on my channel, probably like once every couple of weeks, and just kind of talk about them. So up first, we got Necesse. Necesse is a game that just got a massive graphics overhaul, and the game looks completely brand new. It was released way back in December of 2019, and I have around 49 hours in this game, and I'm just enjoying it a lot, so let's talk about it. First, let me give you a quick summary of what Necesse is. It is a procedurally generated world with tons of islands. In Necesse, you can play alone or with friends and establish a settlement, which includes recruiting colonists, managing their jobs, and using their specialties. While doing this, you'll be exploring dungeons, fighting monsters, bosses, and even fending off raids to your colony. The game is a top-down open-world survival crafting game where you aren't simply overseeing what's happening like in RimWorld, but actively taking part in it. Before I cover too much, let me tell you about what I love about the game. First, I really love the charm. The game feels so good to play and provides a very relaxing experience on a Saturday without plans, or after work on the weekdays. I really enjoy the simple combat and progression system, as I always feel rewarded when I find new loot, craft new gear, and get the resources to recruit a new villager. Speaking of villagers, I really enjoy taking the time to optimize my settlements for efficiency and doing tasks that I originally had to do myself, even the simple things like cutting trees, cooking food, and hunting. Now, let's get a little bit more in depth. When you first start the game, you get to create a world, name it, and even set the difficulty. So for those of you looking for a hardcore experience, you got it. You can even manage some additional world settings like death penalties, raid frequencies, and whether you want to manage your hunger or not. This is very similar to Minecraft and other games like this, where you get to choose kind of what your world experience will be like. Once you do that, you need a character. This is one of my favorite parts because I can customize the skin tone, hair, eyes, and even the simple outfit coloring. An interesting thing about this game is that you can take your characters between multiple worlds or load into existing worlds as a new character. This can be really great for when you want to play with friends but not lose everything on your character when you go back to your own world. Or vice versa, maybe you've been playing by yourself and your friend joins and you want to join their world and you can bring the stuff that you already have in. Now that could be a little bit unbalanced, but who cares? So how's the gameplay for Necesse? It's actually quite simple. It utilizes the WSAD method of moving and simple hotbar selections that you can either use your scroll wheel or the numbers above your keyboard to switch between. At first you feel quite slow moving around the world, but as you progress and get new items, set bonuses, and mounts, did I forget to mention mounts? You'll be gliding through the terrain and dungeons. The gameplay is as if you combined RimWorld, Stardew Valley, and Terraria. RimWorld represents the colony management system of the game. Stardew Valley represents the top-down view, movement, and some of those early fights where you just kind of have a plain sword. And then Terraria represents the loot, customization, and the whack monsters. Now I would not compare this game one-to-one with any of those masterpieces, but you can see the inspiration in this game from them. One large aspect of the gameplay is the settlement feature. This feature allows you to automate multiple systems for you as you progress through the game. As I mentioned earlier, things like tree chopping, farming, cooking, husbandry, and more. However, as you grow your settlement, the more raiders will want to come through. So make sure you're hiring guards as well. Difficulty. How's the difficulty in Necesse? Obviously, the difficulty of the game will change depending on which difficulty you choose at the start of your world, but let me talk to you about the base difficulty when you choose the middle difficulty, the standard experience, if you will. I find the game to be relatively easy, but only in the sense that you can cheese your way through many fights and interactions through placing blocks. That's a lot like Minecraft, so if you don't want to play that way, you don't have to, and lots of the boss fights, blocks are not going to save you. However, in straight up fights, if you don't have the right gear or armor, you can easily die in this game. One of my most memorable experiences that I won't share on screen due to spoilers was my multiple deaths to a boss that's way later in the game, and I just could not beat for the longest time until I went back to the drawing board, come up with potion buffs, got the right gear and the right weapons and summons and whatnot. Yeah, you can summon things as well. You can summon dudes that will go kill enemies for you. It's awesome. This game definitely presents a challenge, but through preparation, you can take it all on with, I'd say, a mild difficulty, but it kind of depends on what level of gamer that you are. Now let's talk about the graphics and sound. Graphically, the game just got a massive improvement as of August 10th, 2024, and it's the reason I decided to pick up the game and play it again. That's the reason I'm even doing this video. While shooting footage for this video, I lost track of time so much because the game just makes you want to keep doing one more thing, one more thing. You're like, I just need to make one more building for that settler, or I just need to go get this ore and make this equipment. Each island, biome, and dungeon has their own soundtrack and helps immerse the player into the environment. I personally really enjoy the Pirate Island sound because of how daunting it is as you're going onto that island. This is a game that encourages long investments into a single world. It certainly is not a roguelike with multiple reruns, and the best way to describe the replayability of a game like this is to compare it to Minecraft. It's kind of in that sense that you come back to it in seasons. It's really fun to pick up, progress, build a settlement, automate the settlement, and then come back to later, or maybe you just want to start a new world. It's kind of like that 2-week thing that everyone kind of does with their favorite games. It can also be fun to load up new worlds with late game gear and blow through the early parts of the game and feel like a god. There's enough content in this game that after 49 hours of in-game time myself, I still haven't seen every item, or probably even every enemy. Now that may be partly because I started multiple worlds, but I progressed quite far on lots of them. So here are my final thoughts. I think this game provides an experience you can't quite get anywhere else on the market right now. It combines multiple niches of games in a way that makes you want to come back and play it each time you're going through your Steam library and deciding what to delete. I spent a lot of time playing this game in between games of League of Legends, Rainbow Six, and also during Zoom meetings for boring classes in college. I'd recommend this game if you're into games like RimWorld, Stardew Valley, Terraria, or Minecraft. If those games aren't your style, I'd still suggest you give it a try as it's unique and could be a good entry into a genre in your gaming career. The game is not very expensive either. I believe right now the full price is $15, but if you get this in the next 14 days of me releasing this video, maybe 13, because I'll be releasing it tomorrow, it's only $9.74 right now instead of $15. So yeah, check out Necesse, it's a great time, and thank you for listening. One last thing I want to ask you guys is what type of things do you want me to cover when we look at new games? Do you want me to focus more on the difficulty, more on the gameplay? What do you want to see, and what type of genres do you want to see on this channel? Let me know. I'm open to any and all feedback, and I really appreciate all the comments you guys give, so thank you so much.